Hello learners, I am Assistant Professor Sonal Agrawal and I welcome you to my presentation on an overview of Companies Act 2013. The learning outcome of this presentation is that the student learners will be able to understand the difference between the old Companies Act that was enacted in the year 1956 in comparison to the new Act of 2013. The students and the learners will also gain knowledge about the important new provisions that have been introduced. At this juncture, let us stop for a moment and give a thought to this question. Why was there a need to replace the old Act? I would like you to take a moment and write down in your copy as to why you think that the old Act needed to be replaced by the new Act. Please pause the video for a moment as you write down your answers, and then we will tally it with the answers that I have provided on the next slide. Yes, there have been tremendous changes in the corporate world from the year 1956. Almost half a century has passed by since then, and these changes, they warranted the need for a new Companies Act to be introduced. Some of the provisions of the old Act, although amended from time to time, were now outdated. There has been a tremendous increase in the number of multinational companies being incorporated within India, those operating outside India, and hence there is a lot of activity on this field. There is a need to make the corporates socially responsible, and hence some relevant provisions have been made in the new Act. People or the public is very much aware of the new means of investment by ways of shares and debentures in companies, and hence their interests need to be protected. There have also been an increasing number of corporate legislations in the last couple of years, which the usual courts find it difficult to dispose of, and hence there is a need for separate provisions related to corporate laws. Moving on to the next slide. Let us look at the journey of the Companies Bill from the time it was introduced in 2008 till the time it was actually enacted in 2014. As you can see here, the Companies Bill was introduced in the year 2008, but it had to be reintroduced again in 2009. The Standing Committee on Finance was allocated with the task of making amendments in the bill. The revised bill was introduced in the Lok Sabha in December 2011, and it was again referred back to the Standing Committee on Finance. The Standing Committee on Finance submitted its report to Lok Sabha in August 2012, and finally the Cabinet approved the amendments to the bill in October 2012. The bill was passed by Lok Sabha in December 2012. However, it still needed to go through the Rajya Sabha and approval of the President, and in 2013 the bill was finally passed by Lok Sabha and also acquired the presidential assent with effect from September 12, 2013. An important amendment or addition regarding corporate social responsibility or CSR was notified on February 27, 2014 and with effect from April 1, 2014. Finally, on 26th March 2014, 183 sections of the Companies Act were notified and they were brought into effect from 1st of April 2014. Thus, we can see that the Companies Bill passed through a long and arduous journey. Let us look at the basic comparative structure between the Companies Act and the Companies Act of 2013. As you can see that the old Act comprised of 18 chapters, while the new act comprises of 29 chapters. There were 658 sections which have been reduced to 470 sections. 15 schedules in the Companies Act of 1956, and now we have only 7 schedules. The old act had around 67 definitions, and many more definitions have been added to the Companies Act of 2013. Some important provisions that I would like to discuss here. First is regarding the rights issue. In the old act, it was applicable only to the public companies, only they could come up with rights issue, but as of now, after the new act, the private companies can also go for rights issue. If the rights issue is not subscribed by, then any person may be given the same if authorized by special resolution. The price would be that determined by registered valuer, and it would be subject to other conditions as may be prescribed. Again, there are some more provisions regarding the same. The existing shareholders, if they do not accept the offer, then the shares should be disposed of in a manner non-disadvantageous to the shareholders and company, and wherein this particular nomenclature was referred to as most beneficial to the company under the old act. Some more provisions under 81(1)(a)(b) regarding approval given by simple majority. Some other provisions regarding private placement. Private placement may be offered in a financial year to not more than 50 people. The payment needs to be done by any method, check, DD, banking, but not by cash. An allotment has to be made within 60 days. The money received on application must be kept in a separate scheduled bank. There should not be any advertisement or any media coverage regarding the private placement. There would be penalty for non-compliance, and refund of all money must be made within 30 days in case the option is not given to the subscriber. Promoter is a very important person associated with a company, and there has been a new definition of promoter, and he has been given slight more powers compared to the old act. However, nothing shall apply to a person who is acting purely in a professional capacity as the promoter. Here are some major changes with regard to the Board of Directors in the 1956 Act vis-a-vis the 2013 Act. Mainly, the maximum number of directors has been increased to 15 from 12. Apart from that, the maximum number of directorship that may be held by a director has been increased to 20 from 15. There have been some new provisions and some new committees recommended, like Nomination and Remuneration Committee, Stakeholders Relationship Committee, and Vigil Mechanism for companies that are listed. The old Act did not make any provisions regarding resignation of directors. However, a director may resign under Section 168 under the new Companies Act. However, he has to provide the details and the reason for doing so and file the same with the registrar. So these are some of the major differences between the Act of 1956 and the Act of 2013. The Companies Act 2013 is a vibrant new act which promises a better tomorrow in terms of investor protection, greater disclosure, compliances, and a greater environment. Thank you so much.